Good morning, good morning, good morning. We're gonna talk about the hashtag Free Britney because it has been trending for the last few years, but recently it has gained a lot of traction as of the last 2 days. And rightfully so, because I learned some things that I didn't know, and I want to share those things with you, and give you my thoughts on why I think this needs to be taken far more seriously than it has been, and not only how the media has been affecting Britney Spears' life, but the amount of control and abuse that is happening with her in regards to her family, much less her dad. So we're going to get into that today. 2 days ago, Britney Spears went to court and made a statement in regards to getting rid of her conservativeship. Now, for those of you who don't know, a conservativeship in the U.S. is a court-approved arrangement in which a person or organization is chosen to protect and manage the personal care or the finances of a person whom the judge has found unable to manage his or her own affairs. When somebody needs taking care of their daily needs, managing their finances, or give large sum of money to strangers, many are elderly people or developmentally disabled or people with temporary or permanent mental or physical disabilities. Details about the person's health and conservatee is not made public. A court-appointed investigator is required to make the personal visit and submit a status report, blah, blah, blah. A conservator can be a relative, friend, or professional entity. Duties include deciding whether the conservative will live, making arrangements for their health, care, housekeeping, transportation, managing finances, paying tax and bills, making investments, protecting assets, and accounting for the court, manage of finances, and reporting the court. Yeah, you basically get it. Well, see, in Britney Spears' case, there are two people with her conservativeship. Jamie Parnell Spears, and he has had controversy in his own right, primarily because of how things are going in regards to controlling Britney and her assets, her job, her career, her finances, and all of these things. Remember, the court gave conservativeship, which basically is like a legal guardianship of a person, and they can make decisions for you and force you to do things whether you want to or not, regardless of your age. And when you have a top-tier celebrity who is, fairly wealthy or has had controversy in any capacity, there are people in family and extended family and even organizations in the court that are appointed and sometimes will actually take advantage of that and use it as a way to control people. I don't think conservatives are something that is talked about enough, and Britney Spears giving her entire speech to the court the other day really solidified my own lack of knowledge of conservativeship, and it makes me wonder how many other top-tier celebrities have this type of thing where they are being abused or having their rights taken away, even when they've made great progress and they've grown and they've become out of their past lifestyle and they're able to make decisions for themselves. You need to be able to allow them to make that step and move on with their life. I believe Amanda Bynes has one too, but it's set up a little bit differently. We're going to go in her statement. We're going to go all the way through her statement on what exactly she said to the court so you can get a larger understanding of what is going on here and why we need to stand with the hashtag Free Britney. Because this singer is being mauled by not only the public and has been for years on years of the public media, but her rights are being stalled, are being taken away when you hear what she has to say, and we're going to go through this right now. Basically, a lot has happened in 2 years, and the last time I wrote all this all down last time I was in court. I'll be honest with you, I haven't been to court in a long time because I don't think I was heard on any level when it came to the court last time. I brought 4 sheets of paper in my hands and wrote what I've been through for the last 4 months before I came here. The people who did that to me should not be able to walk easily. I'll recap. I was on tour in 2018. I was forced to do. My management said if I don't do this tour, I will have to find an attorney. So in 2018, Britney Spears was actually forced by the organization or / her father, the people involved with the conservativeship, to do a tour against her will. And when she said, no, I don't want to do this, I'm not mentally ready, I don't want to do a tour, they threatened to sue her, which legally, under conservativeship / guardianship, they can do. He handed me a sheet of paper as I got off the stage in Vegas and said I had to sign it. It was very threatening and scary, and with the conservativeship, I could never even get my own money, so out of fear, I went ahead and did the tour. When I came off that tour, the new show in Las Vegas was supposed to take place. I started rehearsing early, but it was hard because I was been doing Vegas for 4 years and I needed to take a break in between. But no, I was told in the timeline, and this is how it's going to go. I rehearsed 4 days a week. Half the time I was in the studio and half the time I was in Westlake studio. I was basically directing most of the show. I actually did most of the choreography, meaning that I taught my dancers my new choreography myself. I take everything I do very seriously. There's tons of videos with me in rehearsal. I led a room of 16 new dancers in rehearsals. It's funny to hear my manager's side of the story. They all said I wasn't participating in rehearsals rehearsals, and I never agreed to take my medication, which my medication is only taken in the mornings, never at rehearsal. They don't even see me. So why are they even claiming that? When I said no to one dance move into rehearsals, it was as if I planted a huge bomb somewhere, and I said, no, I want to do it this way. After that, my management, the dancers, and my assistant of the new people were supposed to do an all-new show and went into the room, shut the door, and didn't come out for 45 minutes. Ma'am, I'm not here to be anybody's slave. I can say no to a dance move. I was told at the time that my therapist, Dr. Benson, who died in 2019, that my manager called him in the moment and told him I wasn't cooperating or following the guidelines in rehearsal. He also said that I wasn't taking my medication, which was dumb, because I've had the same lady every morning for the past 8 years giving me the same medication. I'm nowhere near these stupid people. It made no sense at all. There was a week period where they were nice to me, and I told them I don't want to do They were nice to me. They said that I don't want to do the New Vegas show. I don't have to because I was getting really nervous. It was really like lifting 200 pounds off of me when they said I don't have to do the show anymore because it was really, really hard on myself and it's too much. I just couldn't take it anymore. I remember telling my assistant, but yeah, no, I feel weird if I say no. I feel like they're going to come back and mean or punish me or something. 3 days later, after I said no to Vegas, my therapist sat me down in a room and said I had a million phone calls about how I was not cooperating with the rehearsals and I haven't been taking my medication. All of this was false. He immediately, the next day, put me on lithium out of nowhere. He took me off my normal meds I've been on for 5 years, and lithium is a very, very strong, completely different medication compared to what I was used to. You can go mentally impaired if you take too much, if you stay on it longer than 5 months, but he put me on and I felt drunk. I felt like I couldn't even stand up for myself. I couldn't even have a conversation with my mom and dad really about anything. I told them I was scared, and my doctor had me on 6 different nurses with new medications come to my home, stay with me to monitor me on new medication, which I never wanted to begin with. There were six different nurses in my home, and they wouldn't let me get to my car or go anywhere for a month. Not only did my family not do a goddamn thing, my dad was all for it. Anything that happened to me was to be approved by my dad, and my dad acted as if he didn't know what was told, and I had to be tested over Christmas holidays before they sent me away when my kids went home to Louisiana. He was the one who approved all of it. My whole family did nothing. Over the 2-week holiday, a lady came into my home for 4 hours a day, sat me down and did a psych test on me. It took forever, but I was told I had to. Then, after I got a phone call from my dad basically saying I had failed the test or whatever, I'm sorry, Brittany, you have to listen to your doctors. They're planning to send you to a small home in Beverly Hills to do a small rehab program that we're going to make up for you. You're going to pay $60,000 a month for this. I cried for an hour on the phone, and he loved every minute of it. The control he had over someone as powerful as me, he loved to control and hurt his own daughter 100,000%. He loved it. I packed up my bags and went to his place and worked 7 days a week, no days off, which California, the only similar thing to do is called sex trafficking. Making anyone work against their will, taking all their possessions away, credit card, cash, phone, passport, and placing it in all home where they work with people who live with them. They all live in the same house with me. The nurses, the 24/7 security. There was one chef that came there and cooked for me during the day on the weekends. They watched me change every day naked, morning, noon, and night. My body. I had no privacy door for my room. I gave 8 vials of blood a week. If I didn't do any of my meetings and work from 8 to 6 at night, which is a 10-hour, 7 days a week, no days off, I wouldn't be able to see my kids or my boyfriend. I never had anything to say in my schedule. They always told me I had to do this, and ma'am, I will tell you, sitting in a chair for 10 hours, 7 days a week ain't fun, especially when you can't walk to the front door. And that's what I'm telling you this again 2 years later, after I've lied and told the whole world I'm okay and happy. It's a lie. I thought that just maybe if I said enough, maybe I might be happy, because I've been in denial, I've been in shock, I've been traumatized. You know, fake it till you make it, but now I'm telling you the truth, okay? I'm not happy, I can't sleep, I'm angry and insane, I'm depressed, and I cry every day. And the reason I'm telling you this is because I don't think the state of California can have all this written in the court documents from the time that I showed up and do absolutely nothing. Just hire, with my money, another person to keep my dad on board. Ma'am, my dad and anyone involved in this conservatorship and my management who played a huge role in my punishing when I said no, ma'am, they should be in jail. Their cruelty tactics working on Miley Cyrus as she smokes joints on stage at the VMAs, nothing is ever done to this generation for doing wrong things. But my precious body, who has worked for my dad for the past 13 years trying to be good and pretty, so perfect, when he works me so hard, when I do everything I'm told in the state of California, allowed my father, ignorant father, to take his own daughter, who only has a role with me if I work with him, they set back the whole course and allowed him to do that to me. That's given these people I've worked with too much control over my life. They've also threatened me and said if I don't go, I'll have to go to the court, and it'll be more embarrassing for me to judge to publicly show the evidence that we have. You have to go. I was advised for my image. I need to go ahead and just get over it, they said to me. I don't even drink alcohol. I should drink alcohol considering what they put my heart through. And the Bridges facilities they sent me, none of the kids I was doing to the program for 4 months, so the last 2 months, I went to the Bridges facility. None of the kids there did program. They never showed up for any of them. You didn't even have to do anything if you didn't want to. How come they always made me go? How come I always threatened by my dad and anybody who participated in this conservativeship? If I don't do this, what they tell me to enslave me to do, they're gonna punish me. The last time I spoke to you by just keeping the conservative going and also keeping my dad in the loop made me feel like I was dead. Like I didn't matter. Like nothing had been done to me. Like you just thought I was lying for something. You thought I was lying or something. I'm telling you again, because I'm not lying. I want to feel heard. I'm telling you this again, so maybe you can understand the depth and the degree of the damage they have done to me back then. I want changes. I want changes going forward. I deserve changes. I was told that I have to sit down and be evaluated again if I want to end this conservativeship. Ma'am, I didn't know I could petition the conservativeship to end it. I'm sorry for my ignorance, but honestly, I didn't know that. But I don't think I owe it to anyone to be evaluated. I don't feel like I should be even in a room with anyone to offend me by trying to question my capacity of my intelligence, whether I need to be in this stupid conservativeship or not. I've done more than enough. I don't owe these people anything, especially me, the ones that have roofed and fed tons of people on tour on the road. It's embarrassing and demoralizing what I've been through, and that's the main reason I've never said it openly. And mainly, I didn't want to say it openly because I honestly didn't think anybody would believe me. To be honest with you, the Paris Hilton story on what they did to her in that school, I didn't believe any of it. I'm sorry, I'm an outsider. I'll be honest, I didn't believe any of it. And maybe I'm wrong, and that's why I didn't want to say any of this to anybody, to the public, because I thought people would make fun of me or laugh at me and say she's lying, she's got everything, she's Britney Spears. I'm not lying. I just want my life back, and it's been 13 years, and it's been enough. It's been a long time since I've owned my money, and it's my wish and dream for all this to end without being tested. Again, it makes no sense whatsoever for the state of California to sit back and literally watch me with their own eyes make a living for so many people and pay so many people, trucks, buses on the road, and be told I'm not good enough. But I'm great at what I do, and I allow these people to control what I do, ma'am, and it's enough. It makes no sense at all. Now, going forward, I'm not willing to meet or see anyone. I've met with enough people against my will. I'm done. All I want is my own money for this to end and my boyfriend to drive me in his car. And I would honestly like to sue my family for I'd honestly like to sue my family, to be totally honest with you. I'd also like to be able to share my story with the world and what they did to me instead of being hush-hush secrets to benefit them all. I want to be able to be heard on what they did to me, keeping me like this, and for so long, it's not good for my heart. I've been so angry that I cry every day. It concerns me. I'm told that I'm not allowed to expose these people who did this to me. For my sanity, I need you, the judge, to approve me to do an interview where I can be heard and what they did to me. And actually, I have the right to use my own voice and take up for myself. My attorney says I can't. It's not good. I can't let the public know anything they did to me, and not by saying anything, it's saying it's okay. It is not okay. Actually, I don't even want an interview. I'd much rather just have an open call to you, to the press, to hear. It's not fair they're telling me lies about me openly. Even my family. They do interviews to anyone they want. A news station. My own family doing interviews and talking about the situation making me feel stupid. And my own people say I can't say anything. It's been 2 years. I want a recorded call to you actually. We're doing this now, which I didn't know that we're doing. My lawyer, Sam, has been very scared for me to going forward because he says if I speak up, I'm being overworked in the facility of the rehab place will sue me. He told me that I should keep it to myself. I would personally I've grown with a personal relationship with Sam, my lawyer. I've been talking to him 3 times a week now, and we've kind of built a relationship. But I really haven't had the opportunity to be my own self, to actually handpick my own lawyer by myself, and I would like to be able to do that. The main reason why I'm here is because I want to end this conservativeship without being evaluated. Considering my family has lived off my conservativeship for 13 years, I won't be surprised if one of them has something to say going forward and say, "We don't think this should end. We have to help her." Especially if I get my own fare exposing what they did to me. I also want to speak to you about my obligations, which I personally don't think at this very moment I owe anybody anything. I have 3 meetings a week I have to attend no matter what. I just don't feel like I work for the people who are my pay. I don't like being told I have to no matter what, even if I'm sick. Jody, the conservator, says I have to see my coach Ken even when I'm sick. I would like to do 1 meeting a week with a therapist. I've never before, even before they sent me to that place, had 2 therapy sessions. I had a doctor and then a therapy person. What I've been forced to do is illegal in my life. I shouldn't be told I have to be available 3 times a week to these people I don't know. Number 1, I'm scared of these people. I don't trust people with what I've been through, and the clever up of being Westlake, one of the most exposed places in Westlake, which yesterday a paparazzi showed me coming out of the place literally crying in therapy. It's embarrassing and demoralizing. I deserve privacy when I go to therapy, either in my home like I've done for 8 years. They've always come to my home, or when Dr. Benson, the man who died, I went to a place similar to what I went to in Westlake, which was very exposed and and really bad. Okay, so where was I? It was identical to Dr. Benson, who illegally, yes, 100% abused me by the treatment he gave me, to be totally honest with you. Dr. Benson passed away, and I got on my knees, and thank God. In other words, my team pushing through with me. I have trapped phobias being small rooms because of the trauma locking me up for months in that place. It's not okay for them to send me. Sorry, I'm going fast, but to that small room, it was like twice a week with another therapist that I pay that I never even approved. I don't like it. I don't want to do that, and I haven't had anything wrong to deserve this treatment. It's not okay to force me to do anything I don't want to do. By law, Jody and this so-called team I should be able to sue them for threatening me and saying, if I don't go and do these meetings twice a week, we can't let you have your money and go to Maui on your vacation. You have to do what you're told in this program, and then you will be able to go. But it was a very clever thing. One of the most exposed places in Westlake, knowing I have the top hot topic of the conservativeship, that over 5 paparazzis are going to show up and get me crying coming out of that place every time. I begged them to make sure that they did this at my home so I would have privacy. I deserve privacy. And Britney actually makes a point here that, that is one of the things that I've even seen on social media. The photos of Britney constantly crying coming out of a building. And now we actually have context behind this. And that's what makes this whole story sickening and makes me really worked up even reading this, because I believe this. Absolutely 100%. I can't even imagine having to be as big as public figure as you are. You have to go to therapy in a place that's public and open to the world, that when you walk out, every paparazzi shoving a camera in your face, exploiting the fact that you're vulnerable and you're going through extreme personal crap IRL in your personal life, and you're being controlled by it. I can't even imagine. And in retrospect, now that I have this context behind the situation, I think it was done intentionally. 100% done intentionally. Because if the paparazzis are taking photos and she's always having these breakdowns when she's coming out of therapy, but people don't know that she's coming out of therapy. That's the thing. They don't know that. They think she's just having a mental breakdown or crying for whatever reason because she's unstable. The reality of what she's going through is making her unstable. It's making her break. It's breaking every wall in her soul, And it's like, wow, this came out of the blue. I had no idea the severity of this at all. I mean, I had my thoughts. There was conspiracy theories, but now, going through this, fuck her dad. In the conservativeship, making money, making them money, and myself money, and working, that whole statement right there, if the conservativeship should end, I shouldn't be in a conservativeship if I can't work and provide money and work for myself and pay other people. It makes no sense. The laws need to change. What state allows people to own another person's money and account and threaten them by saying, you can't spend your money unless you do what I want you to do, and then I'm paying them? Ma'am, I've worked since I was 17 years old. You have to understand how that thing for me, every morning I get up, know that I can't go anywhere unless I meet people, and don't know every week in an office identical to this one where the therapist was very abusive to me. I truly believe this conservativeship is abusive, and that we can't sit here and say all day, oh, conservativeships are meant to help people. But ma'am, there's 1,000 conservativeships that are abusive as well. I don't feel like I can live a full life. I don't owe them to go see a man I don't know and share him my problems. I don't even believe in therapy. I always think, take it to God. I want to end this conservativeship without being evaluated. In the meantime, I want this therapist once a week. I want him to come to my home. I'm not willing to go to Westlake and be embarrassed by all these scummy paparazzis laughing in my face while I'm crying, coming out and taking pictures of, and taking my pictures as all these white nice dinners where some people drinking wine at restaurants watching these places. They set me up by sending me to the most exposed places, and I told them I didn't want to go there because I knew paparazzis would show up there. They only gave me 2 options for therapists, and I'm not sure how you make your decision, ma'am, but this is the only chance for me to talk for you for a while. I need your help. So if you can just kindly let me know where your head is. I don't really honestly know what to say, but my requests are just to end this conservativeship without being evaluated. I want to petition, basically end this conservativeship, but I don't want to be evaluated. Be sat in a room with 4 hours per day like they did to me before. I'm honestly all new with this. I'm doing my research on all these things. I do know common sense and method that things can end for people it has ended without them being evaluated. So I just want to take that in consideration. It also took a year during COVID to get myself self-care methods. She said there was no services available. She's lying, ma'am. My mom went to the spot twice in Louisiana during COVID for a year and didn't have my nails done. No hairstyling, no massages, no acupunctures, nothing for a year. I saw the maids in my home each week with their nails done different each time. They made me feel like my dad does. Very similar, her behavior and my dad, but just a different dynamic. The team wants me to work and stay at home instead of having longer vacations. They're used to me sort of doing weekly routines for them, and I'm over it. I don't feel like I owe them anything at this point. They need to be reminded that they actually work for me. I was supposed to be able to have a friend that I used to do an AA meetings with. I did AA for 2 years. I did 3 meetings a week. I've had a bunch of women in there. I'm not only able to see my friends who live 8 minutes away from me, which I find extremely strange. I feel like they're making me to live in a rehab program. This is my home. I'd like for my boyfriend to be able to drive me in his car. I want to be able to meet with a therapist once a week, not twice a week. I want him to come to my home because I actually know I do need a little therapy. I would like to progressively move forward, and I want it to be the real deal. I want to be able to get married and have a baby. I was told right now in the conservativeship that I'm not able to get married or have a baby. I have an IUD inside of myself right now, so I don't get to be pregnant. I wanted to take the IUD out so I could start trying to have another baby, but the so-called team won't let me go to the doctor and take it out because they don't want me to have children. Any more children. So basically, this conservativeship is me doing way more harm than good. I deserve life. I've worked my whole life. I deserve to have 2 new 3-year break, just, what I want to do. But I do feel like there's a crutch here. This part of Britney's statement sent me. I didn't know that. And secondly, I didn't even know that you can be forced to have an IUD put inside you, and that a conservativeship gives you this much power to control your sexual health. I didn't know that. I've just learned about this. I had to look it up for the state of California, and she's right. They can control your sexual health. And I am just blown away at that, because no conservativeship should be able to control somebody's sexual health. You know why the team doesn't want her to have a baby, right? Because if she has another baby, that means that money has to go towards providing for that child, and thus they would receive maybe less money working for her. Imagine just being forced to pay people who you can't choose who you want, right? You're being forced to pay people you don't want, and these people who you're paying are controlling every aspect of your life because legally you can't do anything about it. That's screwed up. A woman has a right to have a child. A woman has a right to have birth control or not have birth control. It's that simple. Nobody gets to tell you what you can do with your body as a man or a woman. And this is just revolting. When I read that statement, I'm like, I gotta cover this free Britney, because I didn't know it was to this extent. I feel open, and I'm okay to talk to you about it. But I wish I could stay with you on the phone forever, because when I get off the phone with you, all of a sudden, all I hear is these no's, no's, no, no, no. And then all of a sudden, I feel ganged up on, and I feel bullied, and I feel left out and alone. I'm tired of feeling alone. I deserve to have the same rights as anybody does by having my child, my family, and any other those things. I believe this statement by Britney Spears was extremely powerful, and she's right about one thing. There's a lot of debate happening online about whether conservatives should be allowed or not in states, and I'm not really going to get too much into that. But I will say that I would say, and I agree with Britney on this, that a large portion of conservativeships are people taking advantage of the vulnerable. And one of many, many examples of this is just take a look at Stan Lee. I don't know if you guys don't know who Stan Lee is, but I got to meet him a year and a half before he passed away at his last Comic-Con here in Seattle. And when I saw him and I met him, I knew he was old, right? But something wasn't right. Something wasn't right. Like, I saw him, I went behind him, I put my hand on his shoulder, and I smiled, took a photo. But, like, he's an old dude, but, like, he was a zombie. Like, not just, he was like this. And it really made me think, is something else going on? And there is. I don't know if you've looked into Stan Lee before he passed away, but there was elder abuse. Conservativeship, elder abuse. He has to have caretakers and things. He's an old guy, and he's really, really, really rich. And when you are somebody who is really, really, really rich, and you have lots of money, and you are given a conservativeship, people are going to take advantage of that. Do you really think that the majority of people who work for conservatorships that are in family actually are helping you because they care? No, because they want to control you. It gives them too much power. Way too much. You know, nobody should have complete control of somebody else's finances. You will never convince me of that. Ever. I don't care if you're a celebrity. I don't care if you're me. I don't care if you're Timbuktu down the street and you're 18 years old and your parents want to control your money. Controlling somebody else's money? Having access to their bank account? No. No, 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 no. That's a red flag right there in conservatorships. And shame on you, the father, Jamie, for even supporting this type of stuff. For taking advantage of your daughter in some of the most vulnerable, horrific type of ways that you can. And using it for your own gain. And forcing her to be humiliated over and over and over again in the public eye to make a spectacle out of her. Because you can. Because you have that power. And if there's one thing that this has taught me through reading all this, is conservatorships are bad. Those are my thoughts. Take it with who you will. Hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I'll see you guys next week for another video. Peace the rip out.